Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome. It's me and the Rebuild crew tonight, and Bill and Becky and all of you guys can join in too and ask questions and listen. The Rebuild crew has worked very hard on this tonight, and it's something that's been resonating with them for the past week. And Kyle has been reading a book as well that kind of goes along with it. So he's going to teach us some about that book that he was reading, is reading still. Also, I want to say, holy man, I am digging that song that was just on. God, that's great. Couple announcements too. One is the Run for Recovery is over, and we had fun and we did a good job, and we got out there and we exercised. And I don't think the bars are on yet, but Ron Barr saw me still running yesterday. I think I was walking yesterday, and he screamed out the window at me. So it's getting me, it not only got me out running again, but it's getting me to continue to go out and run. So I think it's great that we did this, and I hope that you guys continue walking and running and working on your health, because it's super important for our mental being, right? If there's any new people on tonight, I can't tell, I can't see if there's anybody new, but if there is, please introduce yourself. We want to meet you. We want to welcome you into the Battlefield family. You can either unmute yourself or you can raise your hand. And this is if you have questions too, because you can ask questions of the Rebuild crew. You can ask questions of Team Battlefield as well. My raise your hand feature is in reactions at the bottom of my screen. So if that helps you at all. I think the only other thing is we do have Mom's Group tomorrow from 11 to 12. Yes, there we are. There's Mom's Group. And this is just a time when us moms get together and we chit chat. We talk about what went on the night before at Solution Group. We just talk about our week, something that we're struggling with, or maybe something that resonated with us that Art spoke on. Or that the Rebuild crew will speak on. It's a great time to connect with the moms, and we all just know we're on the same boat. Some of us have we're there at a different time, and we can look at what the other mom is going through and just go, I was there, sister, I was there, and this is how it helped me, and this, or I heard Art just speak on that like 3 weeks ago, and this might be how it could help you through that time in your life. So that's Mom's Group. We do it through Zoom. Still, some point we're going to get together for coffee. You can message me or Angie for the Mom's Group link. And Becky will be on tomorrow too with me hosting it. And so it's a super fun time. You just bring your coffee or your green smoothie or your tea or whatever you want to drink, and we have a good time. So I'm super excited for the Rebuild crew. I was just there today, and they were chatting with me about all they're doing. So, and we have Kyle's corny comedy corner. Did I do it?
Yeah. All right. Already doing better than Angie. Just kidding. Okay.
That was his lead off joke.
Yeah, that was a lead joke. Okay. So I went to the doctor. And he said to me, don't eat anything fatty. I said, oh, you mean like bacon or cake? He's like, no, I mean, don't eat anything fatty.
Nice.
Yeah. 2 women went to a bar. Maybe it was a sober bar, but it was a bar. 2 women went to a bar. They had a very thick accent. The bartender came up to 2 women and said, oh, are you 2 ladies from Ireland? Very angrily, both women said, Wales. He said, oh, I'm sorry. Are you 2 whales from Ireland?
Oh, wow. No, that's a good one.
Yeah. What did the janitor say when he jumped out of the closet? Supplies. What do ghosts call their boobs? Paranormal entities. Paranormal entities.
That was good, guys.
What is 1,000 times better than Instagram? Insta-kilogram.
Now we're talking.
Little play on words there. 3 conspiracy theorists walk into a bar. I mean, that can't be a coincidence. For how much pop is drank around this house, I feel like half my job is just crushing cans. It's soda pressing. Why do women put on makeup and wear perfume? Because they're ugly and they stink.
Oh.
That's courtesy of Bill Wiggins, everybody. Bill Wiggins. We also had a wonderful dinner today with Papa Murphy's Pizza. It was awesome, and it was brought to us by Mom's Group, and we want to thank Mom's Group for bringing it to us.
You're welcome. We hope you enjoyed it.
Yes, it was great. It was great.
Little Caesars.
Okay. I hope I said Bill's joke right. I think that's how it's supposed to go. All right. So welcome to Kyle's Takeover of Solution Group. I am pretty excited to share, to give my experience, strength, and hope to the group. And, you know, I just want to start off by pointing out something. And it's something that I say often, especially to the clients around here, and it's just true. And we've talked about it before. And that is simply this. Life is a group. Everything that happens in your life is group. You know, there's times where I've thought, you know, well, I could use really a group right now. I could really use a meeting right now. But it's come to a point in my life now, currently, that's not the case, because things happen in life already. Things happen in life that make us have to look at what's happening inside here, what's happening inside here. And those moments are moments of growth, of moving forward. You know, one of the beauties about the clients being in this house, what's that? Are we good? Is it sounding good? Okay. One of the most beautiful things about this house is, you know, not only do we have the groups and the structure of the groups for the clients here to learn about programming, sober living, a sober lifestyle, a new way of living, but the other beautiful thing here is that the clients being here, it forces them to be put in positions sometimes. Positions for them to be on the court. Situations for them, for their shit to get hit. And it's a beautiful thing to watch sometimes. It's a beautiful thing to watch, to see how people tick. And one of the themes lately that's been happening in this house is, and you will notice with not just, you know, addicts, with everybody, you know, maybe it's at work, maybe it's with family, that we are constantly feeling dominated by other people. And it's so easily able to see here, because what we have here is we have a group of people that have been doing, you know, to put it harshly, to put it bluntly, they have been doing really bad at life. In fact, they really suck at life. I mean, I suck at life, especially when it comes to drug addiction. So we have these people that have been doing a really hard time. You know, maybe not all of them decide they want to come here on their own terms. Maybe sometimes they're forced to be here. Maybe some don't know that they suck at life. But what tends to happen is they come here, and it's my job, and it's not just my job, but it's also other clients too, when they're able to hold each other accountable. But it's mainly my job and the other managers here to point out that they suck at life. And that's not easy to hear. And an example of that is, you know, I've come into your chore after you have it done, and I say, you forgot to sweep. That sometimes makes people angry. That's me telling you that you need to do better. Maybe you didn't make your bed. I come into your room and tell you didn't make your bed. It makes you feel uncomfortable, makes you feel upset because someone is telling you what to do. You leave dishes in the sink. You get angry. It's this overwhelming feeling that you are being dominated by somebody else, that you automatically think that this person is trying to be more superior than you in some sort of way, when it's just, you know, honestly helping. And so just one of the things I wanted that just caught my eye this week that I just wanted to at least say something about was this feeling of domination and the different ways that we react to it. And it's all over the board. You know, we have There are people out there, their first instinct when they get dominated is to dominate back. And that comes with standing up, puffing up their muscles, getting angry. They want to start a fight because that's the only way they know how to combat that dominance that they're feeling from others. The way I deal with it is I just smile and I shake my head and I say, okay, but in my head, I'm saying, you're an ass. No way. I'm complaining. And then maybe I go home and think about it. I mean, I like to think that I'm better at it now, that I'm more aware now, that I need to do better. There's many, I just wanted to bring it up just a little bit before I get into what else I want to talk about. It's just something to look at. Where in your life are you feeling dominated by others? And take a look and see if it's a situation where you can actually do better. Something small. I mean, something small, just as me asking somebody to do their dishes can make them so upset. But it's real. It's raw. It's somebody who's feeling dominated by somebody else. That happens. Happens to me. I don't know. It's just something that was on my mind this week. It's happened a few times. Trying to deal with people that way, it gets hard sometimes. Trying not to be dominated is hard sometimes. And maybe as the group goes on, we can continue talking about it. But I really want to get into the subject of what I want to talk about. So there is a book, and it's called Leadership and Self-Deception. It was a family member. I cannot remember who told us about it. And I thank you very much for telling us about it, because even though I've already been clean for almost 3 years, this did something for me. It did something. It did something huge for me. It really showed me, it pinpointed to me the moment in life where I make decisions and how those decisions affect how I justify my behavior and how I justify the way I behave and how I justify the way I judge other people. And you'll see what I mean as we get into it. This book, I highly recommend it. Leadership and Self-Deception. I personally have it on Audible. It's fantastic. The narrator is really, really good. I recommend it to everybody. And there's they have about 3 or 4 books after that. It's called the Arbinger Institute, or the people that put it out. Arbinger with an A. Sorry, talking with these dentures is still kind of hard sometimes. So I recommend it. So this is what we're going to get into. So there is this thing that they have coined as self-betrayal. And what self-betrayal is, we're going to bring it up so people can read it. An act contrary to what I feel I should do for another is called an act of self-betrayal. Also, I like to also add, an act contrary to what I feel I should do for myself is called an act of self-betrayal. And I want to give you a personal example of myself. There was a time where I was living at military because some things that were happening. There was COVID. The manager there couldn't be there, so I went and stayed there for a while. When I got there, there was a day that we decided to clean the house. After, spending most of the day and, mopping, sweeping the floors, doing the windows, cleaning all the bathrooms, getting other people invited to clean with me, I'm tired and I'm exhausted. I get down to the basement. I get to the pantry, and it was so bad. It was so bad. It was bad. And I walk into the pantry and I think, dang, I got to do this now. I got to get this handled. But then I say, you know what? No, you know what? I don't even live down here. We got 3 clients that are down here supposed to be keeping this clean, and this is their job to do it. And then I start making judgments about those clients. I say, okay, well, this client doesn't obviously care about the place he lives at. He obviously just wants to do his own thing and not work a solid program and not do what he's asked. This other client obviously doesn't care about being here. All he wants to do is work and go hang out with his kids and not have any time here and care about the house. This other client's completely lazy, doesn't want to do anything. Obviously, if they did, they would get this done. That is a moment for me of self-betrayal. The moment that I had this sense that I need to do this, that I need to clean this, because I had that sense, that was my first initial thought. The moment that I switched it to no, I don't, that was a moment of self-betrayal. And thankfully, because I was reading this book at the time, I caught it. And I did end up cleaning the pantry. And it did happen. But because of that one thing that I did to myself, because of that one action that I did to myself, it automatically affected 3 other people just because I don't want to do something. The way it affected those 3 other people is now I have a viewpoint that's completely, totally inaccurate and biased upon my own thinking because I don't want to do something. And this is what we're going to get into. Now, the book gives another example, and that's what we're going to go over. Go ahead and go to the next one. Okay, so in the book, there is a character named Bud. Bud has a wife named Nancy, and they have a newborn child named David. Now, Bud's example to the self-betrayal is that he wakes up at 1 o'clock in the morning, early morning, late night, to his newborn baby, David, crying awake. And the first thought he thinks, oh, I need to go take care of David. But then he stops and thinks, you know what? I don't know. You know what? No, I work all day. I got up last time. I took care of the baby last time. It's Nancy's turn. She needs to do it this time. It's a moment of self-betrayal. And I just want to point out what you have there on the screen. It gives you the sense, which is to get up and to tend to David so Nancy can sleep. At that moment that you have this sense of what you have to do, there's two decisions. And this is the good news, is that there's only two choices. You only have to worry about two choices. You can either honor this sense or you can betray it, which is called self-betrayal. Everybody following? Awesome. Okay, so now here's the fun part. Next one. So because of this self-betrayal, like I pointed out earlier, what it does is it automatically affects other people around you because of the choice that you didn't want to do, because you betrayed that sense, because you had that self-betrayal of that sense that you thought you had to do. It affects the other person. Now, if you look on the screen there, what happens is when he betrays himself here, he begins to see himself differently, and he begins to see his wife differently. And this is all 100% fabricated, coming from the thoughts, coming from the attachment to the thoughts going through the head about this other person. All because he didn't want to get up. All because he didn't want to get up and get the baby. So now, as you can see, the way he starts to see himself all of a sudden is as a victim. He starts to see himself as hardworking. I work hard. I work every day. It's her turn to get up and do this. As more important than she is. He says, I'm a good husband. I buy her things. I take her out to dinner. This is the least she can do for me. He thinks he's a fair husband. I give her things. I bring her flowers. I'm always there for her problems. I'm always helping her out with everything she needs. He thinks he's a sensitive husband. I buy my son things. I'm always the one that gets up and feed him. I love giving him baths. I love taking him out to the park. I'm a good dad. I do things for my wife. I am a good husband. Therefore, she needs to do this. Now, the way he begins to see Nancy, his wife, he's beginning to see her as lazy all of a sudden. Now, notice, this is just because he betrays his sense that he has to do something. It has nothing to do in reality of her being lazy. This is him justifying him betraying himself. He is trying to justify the reason why he isn't getting up to do this. It's fabricated. It's the thoughts running that he's attached to in his head about her. He is seeing her as lazy. He is seeing her as inconsiderate. He is seeing her as unappreciative. He is seeing her as insensitive, as faking. Maybe she's not really sleeping. She's just faking like it so he can go do the deal with the baby. He's assuming. He starts considering her a lousy mom because she will not get up and help the baby, and a lousy wife because she knows that he works all day long, that he does help as much as he can, that the least she could do is get up and help the baby. Yet she still doesn't. Now, this is the amazing part of what I'm talking about. You can take that down now. So because of this original choice to betray this sense that you have, you now have formed this justification of another person and of a way of lifestyle. You guys good over there? Okay. This box, which they call the box, they have now I'm introducing this new concept, which is called the box, which is a life that he is now living, justifying his actions. He is trying to find a way to justify why he didn't get up and help the baby. He's trying to justify it. And by the way he's doing that, the way that he is doing that is by thinking all those things about his wife. So now he automatically has this thought form that he's attached to, that he has a lazy wife. Now he has this thought form that he's attached to, that she's a lousy mom. And this trickles down into your life. It trickles down into their life. So not only now in other situations that they go through, he's already attached to the thought form that she's a lazy mom, or that she's a lousy wife. So other things happened in their life. And since because of that one time he betrayed himself, the one time he came up with a justification and called her a lazy wife, the rest of their relationship, until something drastic happens, he will consider her a lazy wife. Does that make sense? All because of the one thing he tried to justify. So let's say later on, they have a separate argument. They go to the grocery store. He wants to get chocolate milk, but she doesn't want to because it's not good for him. Because he knows she's a lousy wife. He knows she ain't going to do it. And he's going to argue and say, see, you're a lousy wife. But you have to see where it stems from. It stems from that one time, the one time where he had this self-betrayal, the one time where he came up with a justification of her being a lousy wife. That's where it comes from. That's where it started. And what I'm trying to say to you, to everybody here, is that anytime you have a judgment about someone around you, anytime these clients see somebody and want to have a certain judgment about it, I almost guarantee, in fact, maybe I say I will guarantee, there is a certain time that you are here that you have committed a moment of self-betrayal, and you have justified that self-betrayal by using that other person and judging them. And now it is stuck in your head, that judgment that you made back then, just to try to satisfy why you betrayed yourself. Following? Yeah. Okay. So, few pointers I want to make about self-betrayal, about what I just said, written down, might make it easier to understand. Go ahead. So, no, not yet. There we go. So, number one, as we said, an act contrary to what I feel I should do for another is called an act of self-betrayal. Number two, when I betray myself, I begin to see the world in a way that justifies my self-betrayal. Like I was saying, when he betrays himself, he now sees the world around him, and he starts to justify why he betrayed himself, the way he justified himself. So I want to give an example. For my example, I begin to justify why I began to justify why I did not want to clean that pantry. My justification was because the clients were lazy. I wanted to justify it because the clients didn't care about where they lived. I wanted to justify it because the client did not care about working a solid program and doing what we suggest to them. Then those are all made up. And I want to tell you the reality of it. One client was going through a severely depressed time in his life. Even though he thought he almost had everything, he almost lost everything he had no idea what to do in his life. Zero. And if I had a moment of, and thankfully I know I can have a moment of compassion for those people to see what's happening with them. And so the one client that I thought that just didn't care, want to work a program, was going through a hard time. The other client worked every single day, and the days that he didn't work, he dedicated and gave his word to see his kid. That's why he wasn't there. That's why he wasn't able to clean, because he gave his word to his child, and I wanted him to go against his values and morals just so I didn't have to justify why I didn't want to clean the pantry. The last one's my favorite. The last client who lived there that I thought was lazy, he had COVID. And wasn't even living at the house anymore because he had COVID. But I didn't care. In that split second that I wanted to betray myself, I didn't care. I justified it. And what would have happened, and I promise you this would have happened, if I would have not cleaned that pantry and gone with that self-betrayal, I would have forever thought Mr. COVID was lazy. I would have forever thought Mr. Hardworking Father didn't care about his house and his roommates. I would forever thought that the guy going through the hardest time in his life in that moment just didn't care about recovery. And until something else happened drastic in my life that could change that, until I was able to find another point in time where I could find compassion for each three of those people, that's the way I would have seen them. Just because of that one moment where I want to betray myself. Right? Okay, so number two, when I betray myself, I begin to see the world in a way that justifies my self-betrayal. Number three, when I see the world in a self-justifying way, my view of reality becomes distorted. Exactly what I was just saying. Now, forever and onward, after that self-betrayal, I see those people as that which is complete fabrication, which is also complete attachment to thought, because that's what that is. The thought running through my head that they're lazy, thought running through my head that they don't care. That's what that is. Complete distortion of what's actually happening, what's going on with those people, what is real. Okay. Number four. So, when I betray myself, I enter the box. Here is this concept I've been talking about, which they call the box. Now, over time, certain boxes become characteristics of me, and I carry them with me. So now, this is what I'm talking about now. Now I have this box that I have created where I think a person is lazy. And every time I see this person, they are lazy. And like I keep saying, it's all because of that one time I betrayed myself. Because that one time I didn't want to do what I thought I should. I decided not to do what I knew I should have. And now I see this person as lazy. I created this box. I'm unwilling to see this person as anything else. They come to me, they want to give me direction on something I have to do. I'm going to say, no, you're lazy. I don't think so. I don't have to listen to you. And that goes with the other boxes I've created. Other people I don't think work hard enough, so they don't have a right to tell me how to work. Other people, I don't think they work a strong enough recovery, so they have no right to tell me how to my recovery. Those are all versions of those boxes. And actually, I have other versions that we're going to talk about before we finish here today. Okay, number 6. By being in the box, I provoke others to be in the box. This is where it gets meaty. This is where it gets important. This is where it becomes important for my job and for inviting other people to change. Because if I want to invite other people to change around me, I can tell you one thing is for sure. I can't be in the box when it happens. I can't be in a place that lacks compassion. Another definition of being in the box is any time that I see people as objects, I'm in the box. When I see people as people, I'm out of the box. That is a moment in time where I have true compassion for another. That's a moment in time where I actually look and see what's happening. What's the reason behind this? That is Bud looking over at Nancy and realizing that she is dead tired because she's been up all day with that kid and it's his turn. That's what that is. That's me realizing that Bundle ain't lazy. He just had COVID. It was Bundle, by the way. He had COVID. He wasn't even living there. Huh? Yeah, he was involved too, but you had COVID. Okay. Yeah. If you're a note taker, these are the notes that you want to take. These are the ones that you want to remember. This is if you are now, okay, so listen now. This is it's kind of like a double-edged sword because we all want our family members to change. We all want other people around us to change. And this is the way to make it happen. But here's the kicker. The only way it's going to happen is if you change first. The only way it's going to happen is if you are able to put yourself out of the box first. That means you're able to see people as people and not as objects. It means that you are able to become aware of the fact that we are constantly doing this thing called self-betrayal and catching yourself in it. Now, another exercise, which is kind of hard to do, maybe if it's been something that's deep-rooted, is to look at one of those judgments that you have of people. Look at one of those things, one of those boxes that you find yourself in, and try to track it back to the moment where it started. Try to track it back to that moment of self-betrayal, the moment where you decided right then and there that person was lazy or lousy or inconsiderate or a fake because of one self-betrayal you did. Something you thought you should do for them or do for you that you decided not to do. And by doing so, justifying it, by judging somebody else, and now you carry that judgment everywhere you go about that person, try to see if you can track it back. It's doable. It's 100% doable. Sometimes it's hard because they're deep-rooted. Maybe it was a self-deception that happened over 3 years ago. They exist. We have judgments for a reason. Usually we don't tend to think things about people we just met. Sometimes people judge books by the cover, sure. But I usually don't tend to judge people I just meet. If something happens, something has to happen there. Something happens where all of a sudden I'm judging this person that I've known for a month every day, and now I think this way of somebody, and it's not flattering to them. It's a box. I want to try, and I'm trying to help them change because it's my job, but I can't because I'm in the box about it, and I don't think they're going to listen anyway because I'm in the box. It's not going to work.
I think mine's Craig Gilmore.
Yeah, definitely, dude. Yeah. That's a hard one. What's that? Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. He just knows. He knows his person. Soderman knows his person. He knows the box we're talking about. So yeah. So like I was saying, it's about finding yourself to get out of the box, and that is something we can talk about. That is something if you guys like, we can talk about how it's the question. So the question becomes, okay, look, well then Kyle, how do I get out of the box? How do I get out of the box? If I'm in it, how do I get out? And the answer is simple, but it's severe. And it's also hard. The way you get out of the box is you have to know that there's a box. That's the first step. You have to know that it exists, that something is happening and it's your problem, not theirs. That is something inside of you going on. You have to see that. You have to see that you are seeing this person, these people as objects and not as people. You are seeing people without compassion and without reality, without actually getting to know who they are. What I do to try to get out of the box with somebody is I get to know them. I see what their problems are. I see what's happening with them. And at that point, I can maybe come to them and try to suggest appropriate suggestions to help them change their life, to get to a point.
Build a relationship with that person.
Build a relationship. Build a relationship with them. Get to know them. Find out why, what, who, where, when. We don't know, Maybe they had COVID. Maybe they have strong values and they work hard and they keep their word to their kids. Maybe they're just going through something so hard and they're so depressed they just can't get through the day. That's how you get out of the box. See people as people. You become aware that we are constantly in this mode of self-betrayal. We are constantly betraying our sense of self. Well, I don't say sense of self, but our sense to do something for another or for ourselves. We are constantly doing that to ourselves, especially addicts. We are always an act contrary to what I feel I should do for myself. Right? An act contrary. I feel I should do for myself. Right, that's just ended there. Can't remember if there's something after that. An act contrary I feel like I should do for myself or another. It's constantly happening as addicts. We are constantly going against our morals and values. I was raised, in an awesome home. I love my parents. They're both fantastic, both good parents, fantastic, great. And I was raised with morals and values. I was raised, loved, and given everything not only I needed, but mostly what I wanted for the most part. I mean, I did have a twin brother, so we had to share everything, including a birthday. It's okay. It's okay.
Sounds like it's not.
I'll get over it. I'm in the box with my brother. No. But I had, I had these morals and values, and as I am using and as I am trying to find a way to get well and to get better, I'm going against every single one, and I hate every minute of it, but I'm doing it anyway. Moment of self-betrayal. And I'm constantly justifying why I'm stealing from my grandma who's dying from dementia. Constantly justifying why I'm stealing from my stepmom who's dying from cancer. I'm constantly justifying stealing from my dad who just lost his wife from cancer. Self-betrayal. Okay, so the last part I want to bring up. Now, this is actually from the next book, which the first was Leadership and Self-Deception. Then there is The Anatomy of Peace. Then that's another title of the book, Anatomy of Peace. And the other one is called Outward Mindset. So this is actually from the Outward Mindset. Now, what this is different lifestyles, or they say box, that we find ourselves in. And this is the last part that I want to talk about. And after this, I'm going to see if any of these guys here who have been in this program, who know this, want to talk about it, want to say something, want to add something that I may have missed. Then we can go to the families. I think Bill and Becky have a couple things they want to get handled too. So let's just go through these. The first box we will see up on the left is the better than box. Now, I guarantee every single one of us is one of these. We might even be more than one. So the better than box. If you find yourself in the better than box, the view of myself is you feel superior. You feel more important. You feel virtuous and always right. Your view of others. They are inferior, incapable, and or irrelevant. They are false. They are wrong. Your feelings. You are impatient, disdainful, or indifferent. In your view of the world, you seem to be more competitive, troubled, and the world needs you. People need you. You are a needed person. The next box over, the I deserve box. The view of myself. Meritorious. Mistreated. A victim. Unappreciated. Your view of others. You are always mistaken. No one understands you. You are always mistreated. People are ungrateful. Your feelings. You are constantly entitled. You are deprived, and you are resentful. The view of the world. It's unfair, unjust. Yes, Pam, that is most definitely Stamp. I agree. Yeah. She's giving a thumbs up. View of the world. Unfair, unjust, and it owes me. Yeah. Maybe she didn't mean to do that. Okay. The next one down the left. The must be seen as box. View of myself. Need to be well. Need to be well thought of. Fake. View of others. You are judgmental. They are judgmental of you. They are threatening. They are your audience. Your feelings. You're anxious, afraid. You're needy, stressed, overwhelmed. View of the world. It's dangerous. It's constantly watching, constantly judging you. Last box on the bottom right. View of myself. The worse than box. View of myself. Not as good. Broken. Deficient. Faded. The view of others. They are advantaged. They are privileged. They are more blessed than you. Feelings. You feel helpless, jealous, bitter. You feel depressed. The view of the world. It's hard. It's difficult. It's unfair. It's always against you. Everybody, everything, always ignoring you and your needs. I just want everybody to take a moment to look at these and decide where you may sit. I know where I sit. I might sit in a couple places. Definitely the must be seen as box. That's for sure. I want people to think that I'm awesome, that I'm doing perfect, that I got no issues, I got no problems. I'm never angry. I'm never upset. That's where I sit. Hades, definitely an I deserve. And must be seen as. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, okay, so let's just do a quick recap before we go to hand it around, see if anybody has anything they want to say on the subject over here. So first we'll go back. Self-betrayal, an act contrary to what I feel I should do for another or myself, is called an act of self-betrayal. Go to the next one. So in the example I gave, it was Bud who did not want to get up to get his son David. At first, he had the sense that he should get up and get his kid. But then, at the moment of self-betrayal, which he can either choose to honor that sense or betray it. And the moment he betrays it, the world becomes distorted around him. The way he sees himself and the way he sees Nancy, his wife, changes, becomes distorted because of that self-betrayal. Okay, moving on. We'll just go through these points one more time. Number one, an act of what I just said earlier a second ago. An act contrary to what I feel I should do for another or myself is called an act of self-betrayal. Number two, when I betray myself, I begin to see the world in a way that justifies my self-betrayal. Number three, when I see the world in a self-justifying way, my view of reality becomes distorted. Number four, so when I betray myself, I enter the box. Over time, certain boxes become characteristics of me, and I carry them with me. That's exactly what I just showed you. Those four boxes that we find ourselves in. That's what they are talking about in that moment. Number six, by being in the box, I provoke others to be in the box. No, that's it. Yeah, that's it. So, anybody down here, rebuild crew? Yeah, Stefan.
Hey, how's it going? So I want to talk a little bit about what this means in my life and how it kind of plays out. Kind of some of the stuff that Kyle said, but also kind of focus in on, what happens in the mind and what happens when I'm in the box, and then how to get out of the box. So for me, when I'm in the box, I've left the observer position first I get the sense, like Kyle said, and then the thoughts come. And with those thoughts come emotions, whether they're superiority or justification or feeling better than, and I attach to those thoughts. And when I'm in the box, I am my thoughts. I'm lost in my thoughts. And that'll ride out for, I mean, it could be a day. I mean, it could be longer sometimes, depending on the situation. And to get out of the box, that happens in the moment that I'm able to get back to that observer position. I'm able to pay attention to what my mind is paying attention to. And I can see that sometimes it's, oh, I really don't feel that way about that person because I love them. Or I can think of other situations in which I haven't thought of them this way. And like Kyle said, the moment that I recognize that I'm in the box, that's the only time that I'm going to get out of the box. So I did that today. I really watched myself. And I popped in and out of there quite a few times throughout my work day. So yeah, it's good stuff. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, one thing I've realized after reading this book is it's something I have done, is I have watched myself. I'm able to catch these moments where I have this sense of something I should do, either for myself or for someone else. And to stop myself, or to keep myself honoring it compared to betraying myself has been so much easier. And what tends to happen in my life, what does happen in my life, it becomes so much more spiritual and meaningful, and things happen like they're supposed to happen. Life is good. People respect me a lot more, and they understand me a lot more. I'm way more able to help people around me when I do so. But when I start to betray myself, I start to notice the same things begin to happen when I start to betray myself. All of a sudden, these clients I have with me, some of them don't want to listen to me anymore. Some of them start judging me a lot. Some of them have great excuses to not listen to what I have to say. All because at some point I betrayed myself, and they saw that. People see it. Okay, anybody else?
Hey, Kyle. Chris has a.
Yes, awesome. Close that door.
Yeah. Hey, Kyle. First of all, excellent job. Really good. But I want to challenge you or question you on the example that you gave as to where the act of betrayal actually occurred. I think you probably had a moment of clarity when you were going to dive in and clean that pantry to say, wait a minute, should I really be doing this? Should I be doing for others what they're capable of doing themselves? And generally the answer to that question is no. I think the act of betrayal comes in then when you marginalize them to justify your behavior. Because if you ask the question and go, maybe these guys should be cleaning the house themselves. I work hard too. It's their house. And I want them to be better. And that's why I want them to do it. Not because they're lazy, they're stupid, they're incapable.
Yes.
So I think
my problem is, I think my problem is I become extremely addicted to chores. Like I have just developed this thing in my life where I enjoy cleaning things, having a terrible product to turn into something wonderful in the end, you know? Some of it might be superiorities, like, hey, look what I did.
Look what I can do. Yeah.
This is what recovery looks like, guys. Take a look. You know?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I agree.
All the rest of the stuff is right on. Man,
I totally
agree. I was like, that's right where I'm at.
Yes.
That's great. That's really good stuff. What's the name of the book again?
So the first one is Leadership and Self-Deception.
Okay.
Then there's three of them. The other one is Anatomy of Peace. Like peace, dude.
Yeah.
And then the other one is The Outward Mindset. Okay. And they're all story based. They're all story based. Arbinger Institute is this place that puts it out. And what it was actually created for was created for businesses to work together as a team. And it's about being a leader and about having teammates and about inviting the people around you to achieve results with each other on a personal level, on being able to see people as people, not as objects. I just read it and it became instantly comparable for my addiction in my recovery program that I work. It's perfect. It's perfect with what we talk about, with watching your thoughts, becoming aware, becoming the observer. It's just being a leader, not a victim, having relationships with people. They're excellent. Excellent books.
Yeah, good. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
Go back on mute. Yeah, mute.
Cam, you got anything to say? Sure. All right. Cameron, cousin, everybody.
I just kind of have a story that goes along really well with all of this and being inside the box and the self-betrayal and something that I went through while here at this program. I guess basically I'll just start it off. So I graduated from this house here in Kent and I moved to the military house. And I'd been at the military house now for probably 4 months. And as you all know, Travis was the manager at the military house. And Travis was moving out of the military house. And I had asked Art if there was any way that I could take on a little more responsibility and become manager at the military house without knowing really how hard that position really is, right? And through the next couple of weeks, there had been situations where I was asked to be there when I wasn't there. And I had basically told myself that, or justified to myself that I didn't need to be there because I had asked these other guys to handle it for me pretty much. And I was like blaming these other guys when I got back and the house was a wreck or the house was a mess or whatever. I'd blame these other guys for not taking control of the situation. And it even went as far as like me even sitting here and saying like, how could Art put me in a situation like this? And these are just the crazy thoughts that Kyle's talking about that go through your head is like, you know, I work all the time. I can't believe that I put myself in this position to do this. Like, how could Art not see this? Or why didn't he say something to me? Or just crazy, irrational thoughts. And the only way that I could actually get out of the box and face what was going on in that situation was when I had called Art that day. It was like 2 weeks after I'd called him on the phone, and I was able to talk to him and told him, look, hey, Art, I can't do this here at the house. I can't take this responsibility anymore. And right then, the way that Art and I were able to communicate back and forth together without me seeing him as an object, like Kyle explains, but me seeing Art as like the person that he is, it helped me to realize that he didn't put me in like that situation for me to fail, obviously, right? But that was like the thoughts that were going through my head. Like, is he testing me?
Yeah.
Is this situation something that I shouldn't have got into, or whatever the case was? But I wasn't able to realize that until I was able to get out of the box and talk to Art. And when I actually did call Art and talk to him, he's like, I know, Cameron. He's like, and I really appreciate you calling me and talking to me about this. He's like, there's a lot going on right now. And you have a lot going on with work and your daughter and everything else. And it was a big responsibility for you to take. And just that weight that was lifted off my shoulders after we went through that and was able to get out of the box and talk, like person to person, man to man, or however you want to say it. It was a really cool experience. And I mean, there's all sorts of experiences living in this house where you're living inside the box, whether it be chores, you know, oh, I don't have to do this right now. I can do this tomorrow, you know, and justifying I work too hard, I want to go spend time with my daughter. I want to go do this or that.
Cam was the other person, by the way.
Yeah. I didn't even know the pantry was dirty. I didn't even look at it. I literally lived there for 2 days.
Yeah, that's true.
And hadn't even looked at the pantry yet. But yeah, there's all sorts of situations here at this house where we find ourselves living in the box. And it's so awesome that we can actually live out of the box now with this material that we've learned. And it gives us all like hope that we're not gonna live a horrible life, like Kyle's saying, right? We're not gonna, I don't know how'd you put it? We're not in the beginning.
What do you mean?
Because we all have a messed up, or
Suck at life.
we all suck at life.
Oh,
It
yeah.
all gives us hope that we really don't
Yeah.
all suck at life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I love this topic. I've read the book also a couple times, and it's been a really good book, and I recommend it to anybody. So
Yeah.
that's about all I gotta say.
Thanks, Cam. I mean, just to kind of tie in what I was talking about earlier with feeling dominated by people, because what happens is that when we are in this position of being in the box, it doesn't matter whether someone approaches us. I mean, first of all, the only way we can get someone else out of the box in the first place is by being outside the box ourselves. But that doesn't mean it's going to work every time. It just means we stay out of the box. We keep up with our compassion. We keep up with looking at ourselves, not looking at them. We keep up with talking to them as people. And that's the only way you're going to invite them to change, invite them to step outside the box. But what happens is that when we are feeling dominated by others, we are so far in the box, because I'm telling you right now, the way I try my best when I do this job. And one of the ways I think about it is I say, okay, the way I approach a client is if would I be able to call their parents and tell them that I approach them this way? For example, it's my favorite example. Stan. I call him an ass. And I can call Pam and say, hey, Pam, I had to call your son an ass today. She's like, good. All right. He is. No, she loves him, but he's an ass. But yeah, it's a conversation that I can seriously have outside the box with Stan. And it's real. And it's what I try to do when I'm trying to come to somebody. You know, I'm just trying to invite them to the possibility that they need to do better. I need to try to invite them the possibility that you got to follow rules, that when we don't leave dishes in the sink, that we put them away. And even when it gets to the point of them screaming and yelling at me, it's still at this point like, okay, well, I'm we still have rules. You still got to follow them. It's not fighting back. It's not getting in the box all of a sudden and starting to feel dominated by them. It's staying out, looking at them, seeing what's going on. Why are they so angry? Why are they so upset? What's happening? And that's why it's beautiful, because it is a tool to use to change other people, to see what's happening with them. It can be, if you let it, if you're in the right mindset.
And I think, to be honest, like that's what helped me was when I called Art that day. Art was out of the box. When I went into that conversation, I was in the box.
Yes.
Because of the thoughts and the things that I had in my head, right?
Yeah.
But because Art was out of the box when he was talking to me.
Yes.
And he showed compassion, and he showed that he knew what was going on and all of this, that it actually invited me to be outside the box. And so then our conversation was then completely out of the box, and we were both in understanding with each other, right?
Yeah.
And that's where
and Art's a great example. Like, there's so many times where we'll have a client being upset and be like, we had one time someone said, you're a fat little man. And he's like, I'm trying to watch my weight, you know, or I'm trying to eat better. You know, he stays out of the box. You know, he doesn't allow it to dominate him, to feel dominated. And that's what we have to do. That's what we have to try. I mean, Eckhart Tolle calls a man who gets aggressive and gets defensive a small man. A man whose reaction first is violence and violence first, talking last is a small man reaction. A big man reaction is one who can stay outside the box. A big man reaction is someone who can stay cool, not feel dominated, chill, talk, be an adult, put dishes away, make your bed.
Simple responsibility.
Responsibility, which is fun, by the way. Like it feels so good to leave your house with your bed looking perfect. So good to leave your house with your room looking perfect. You have guests coming over and there's no dog poop on the front yard. Guests coming over and the kitchen looks perfect. Dinner set out, ready for people. Come join us, eat. We'll clean up. It's a good time. Okay. Any questions out there in Battlefield Family Land?
Janine
I don't know.
Faulkner, you unmuted yourself. Do you have a question?
No.
Okay.
Great question. Good question. My answer is yes.
Yeah, anybody out there, if you have any questions of the kids in Rebuild, they're kids, any of the guys in Rebuild, you should.
Do Becky and Bill did you guys have any questions? Or were you guys wanting to do something?
Well, actually, we were just gonna offer to answer any questions about Battlefield. If anyone
Nothing having to, because we didn't know
Nothing.
what you're going to talk about, but that was excellent, Kyle.
No, that
When you
was
talked-
great.
And how it ties in with some of the other talks that Art has given about different things, and it really ties into what I read myself about. I see that box that you're talking about. That's just, you just write the word self-centeredness in there and go look up all the terms and definitions of self-centeredness, and they're 90% of them are not very good.
Yeah.
And that the ability, it's like that little pong thing bouncing around in that box, and you can't get out of that box until you get out of that orbit of self-centeredness. And then as soon as you get out of that orbit, you can see things a lot more clearly, and you're a lot more available to people that are in distress, because you can't be of service to anybody if you're in that box of self-centeredness. And
Yeah.
I just see that coinciding, perfectly with what I read. Beautiful.
Yeah. It is beautiful. Yeah.
I think we have this book listed under suggested reading on the website. And so if anybody hasn't had a chance to look at the website lately, go check it out. All Things Battlefield on there, because we worked pretty hard to try to update the information on there. And we do have a recommended reading list with links to the Audible versions and even abbreviated versions of the reading. So I guess, Kristen, we better check that tomorrow, make sure we have this one on there. But that was really great, Kyle.
One more thing, I think for people tuning in, for like Chris and Lori, been 6+ years probably tuning in. I think the great thing about, and I'm too bad there's not more people on, or maybe some new people on, but one of the great things about Solution Group is Solution Group takes you out of that orbit of self-centeredness, and it allows you to be compassionate, because you're not just dwelling on your own issues. You hear conversations from other people, and you get out of that position of when you're self-centered, you can't see anything but your own desires. So
Yeah.
it gets you out of that. So, and that's the wonderful thing about Solution Group, is it does take you away from that orbit for a little bit, so that you are available. And that's why we keep tuning in. That's why we've been tuning in for.
And I think that's, why in the beginning, I kind of want to mention that, if you having the awareness to be able to not need, the solutions, to gain that, to be able to do that in everyday life is a beautiful thing. That's what I mean by everything is every day is a group, if you let it be. If you can see, if you can notice, if you can gain that awareness, separate from your thoughts just for a moment to see if you're doing the self-betrayal, to see the box that you're in, to look at other people with compassion, that's why Solutions is so perfect, because it gives you that moment of, exactly like you said, just looking at the other people.
Yeah, you become available. You're not available when you're in that box.
No. I mean, you might pretend to be.
Yeah,
I pretend to be in my box, that's for sure.
yeah.
I pretend.
Well, people are just not receptive. You might be available, but people are not receptive to anything you try to give them.
But yeah, that's true too. Yeah. Yeah. Did I say the joke right? Did I say it correctly?
I don't know what you're talking about. I would never say anything that's sexist.
Oh, okay. I must have been, yeah, that's somebody else.
That was another
It was stamped.
Yeah.
It was stamped, yeah.
It was Will Biggins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it was maybe Steve's not on tonight. I think it was Steve.
That sounds like Steve. Anyway.
That's all we had to say, really.
Actually, I want to know what Kyle's doing tomorrow.
Ooh.
I have no idea.
My pantry could use a little help.
Oh. I am busy all day. No.
Darn it.
I clean the. I'm totally. If you're actually not doing some stuff, we'll help you.
No, you joke.
I'm kind of not. I'm kind of serious.
No.
Yeah.
We
got Courtney. Courtney is the pantry master. We got. I mean, she'll.
We might need roofers.
Oh yeah.
My dad keeps asking me to do his roof when I go up there. I don't know what I'm looking at. So roofers, not roofies, roofers.
What?
These guys.
Hey, you guys, I just checked the website and this book is listed on it. So you don't have to look tomorrow.
Maybe put all three on there. Anyway, good one. I started. I haven't finished it, but I'm really looking forward to it now. And I'm wondering, and I am a note taker, but I'm not a very fast note taker. And I was wondering if you would maybe post those boxes.
Yes. Yeah. The last one.
Whatever you think. Yeah, any of them, any and all of them. Maybe post them on the Family Battle page.
Oh, I can share that.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll show them. We'll share them with. I'll share them to you, Becky, and then you can.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
That'll be great to talk about tomorrow too.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for Bill and Becky? Bill is the president of our board. Becky is one of the team Battlefield members. Got any questions about Battlefield at all, or me, or anybody? Totally fine if you don't. Everybody knows all about us. I love it. We're doing a good job.
Looks like Sherry Pennington has something. Her hands up.
Alright.
Oh, Preston Myers says he'll do roofs.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh,
Hi, Sherry.
Hey, so Kyle, great job. So this seems like the box thing is essentially ego, right? So would you say that when you're in that position of box, you're in ego?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. I think where it coincides is like this. So the moment that the way you get rid of the ego is you have to become aware that there is an ego. And you have the moment that you become aware of it is the moment that you separate from it. The way you get rid of the box is you become aware that there is a box. And the moment that you get out of it is the moment that you see it, that you separate from it. So it's very similar, they're very connected. It's very connected. I think the box just is a lot better way at describing the way we behave and why we behave and the justification behind it and where it stems from, where it comes from. Yeah, I mean, it's all pure attachment to thought, to the way we think, to the judgment. So yeah, you can consider them the same. That box holds the ego in.
Well, it seems like, yeah. I mean, so as you were describing it, it seemed to me like the ego is the thing that is telling you all the bad stuff that Cameron's thinking about, right? When he was talking with Art. And then as soon as he let his guards down and kind of like got real, then he was able to kind of like have that genuine out of the box conversation. But it's when
Right.
you're in a state of ego, you're thinking about, well, he's thinking this about me, or I'm thinking this about me, or I should do this, or I should do that. That's when you kind of like, that's your ego position. And then when you stop doing that and get real, that's when you can have that real conversation.
Yeah, it's just pure attachment to thoughts, and that's what the ego is. That's what the ego is. Yeah.
Darn ego.
Darn ego.
Seriously.
Yeah, who invited that guy?
Yeah. Brian invited him. Brian Pennington. Yeah. Yeah.
Questions?
Okay, crew. Anybody else? Katie, do you want to show how cool your hair looks?
Yeah.
Look at her hair.
Amazing.
What color is it? What'd you say?
It was meant to be like violet,
It's fuchsia.
but it's like fuchsia.
It looks so good on her.
See, that's another thing. That's another thing.
Love it.
It's purple.
Yeah,
Fuchsia.
No, it's more like a pink purple.
Fuchsia.
I do hair.
Violet.
Hair is very, very
I
cute.
would
Either
say
purple,
magenta.
pink, red, blue.
Not many women on this
Magenta,
planet can
yeah.
shave their head and look this freaking good. Like,
True.
truthfully, I would never do that.
Mine is just
I do
called
not have the
purple.
balls to do that.
I have the biggest cojones in this house.
She
Yeah.
absolutely does. Looks so good.
Okay, stamp down there somewhere.
Stamp?
Yeah.
Sure is, right there. Take a look at the camera here.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Good to see you without that neck brace on. Looks great.
Yeah, move your legs a little bit. Show me if you move your legs. You can.
10-mile
He's
walk.
got his old cane here.
Yeah. Oh, there's something I want to say about Stamp too. Is like the Stamp is hands down one of my best friends, hands down, without a doubt. Is that not true, Stamp?
Yeah.
And I'm not making him say that. It's true. He is. And our relationship is good enough so like we can have real conversations and be real with each other, and it's nice. I mean, he is an addict. And he has issues. You know, his addiction is very acute. And it sucks. It sucks. It sucks to be in a position. It really sucks to be in a position where you have this addiction to opiates. Most of your adult life, and all of a sudden you are in this traumatic accident, breaking almost every bone in your body, and you have a stroke, and then now you're thinking that your life might have to be spent the rest of it on opiates. When you have a problem with opiates, like I can't even imagine. That's the kind of compassion I have for Stamp. Like I can't even imagine how hard it's going to be to actually be at a point in his life where he's able to see whether he needs opiates or not. None of us know except for him. The only one that knows the answer to that's him. The only one that knows how much pain he is him. None of us know. Who am I to say he's not in pain? It's a battle he has to go through to be able to be at a point with us. Do I think it's possible for him to live the rest of his life without opiates? Yes. Do I know of stories out there, people been in similar horrible accidents who don't have to go the rest of their lives using opiates? Of course. Do I know any personally? No, I do not. I'm hoping Stamp will be the first one. But being scared of pain is real, especially for addicts. Being scared that you're going to be in pain the rest of your life is real.
We've never had to be in pain.
But thankfully, he is with opiate experts, like myself. But yeah, he's got a tough road, but he's doing it. He's doing it, and he's doing awesome. You know what? The other day, he was telling me a story, and I said, Stamp, I want you to tell me this story without making it a complaint. And he almost did it. He almost did it. Which I'm telling you, that's improvement. When he first got here, no way. Yeah. He's improving. I'm so happy. So happy. Yeah. But yeah, I don't envy Stamp. He has a long road. It's hard. I can't imagine. Can't imagine what it's like to have this opiate problem and now be stuck with it.
I don't think it's
proper for anybody to imagine that or try to imagine that. I think that they can imagine that.
Some people, there are people out there who have experienced similar things, and they might know.
I mean, everybody's different.
But your job is to be able to be at a place with us where we believe what you're telling us.
Yeah.
Where we believe that if you actually are in pain, if you actually do need these meds, or if you're able to get by without it, and you're just saying it because you want to feel,
Yeah, it's definitely not the case.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. He is a blessing to our family, though.
That's beautiful. It's nice for us parents to get a glimpse of what you guys do in there and how you speak to each other in there. That was just beautiful. And your authenticity too, Stamp, is beautiful.
It's fantastic. He is. He is. This wreck did something. I don't know. I mean, believe it or not, he's more humble. Yeah. Can you imagine what it was before this? I mean, every time he came in, he's like, "There's negotiations. You know, we're gonna have to have negotiations. You know, I'm not coming if I can't have my phone."
All four.
You know, like, you guys want me there that bad? Yeah.
Usually, when you bump your head, you knock a few screws loose. I think he tightened a few.
Yeah. And he's got actual screws in him somewhere. So
that's screwed up.
Got a lot of screws and plates in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Anybody else? How much time we got left?
15 minutes.
15 minutes.
You can close.
Let's fill it up.
Yeah, anybody new? I can't tell if there's anybody new. No. All right, kids. Oh.
There he is.
Yes.
We have to say something.
Yay.
Through all this.
I don't. Yay. Yeah.
First, Kyle, I want to say you did a fantastic job. And I mean, you got right to the point. I mean, now I want to read the book. I've never read that book, and it, I'm sure, is an excellent book, and I'll probably get a lot of insight from it. I tend to be very judgmental, always have been. I admit it. You know, so I've got a lot of room to grow. But we also want to say, you know, how proud we are of Chris coming back over there. I mean, we could handle everything except the addiction. And it's very difficult for us since we've never been there. We really have no clue. We've been through it enough with him, but it just seems to be different every time we go through it again. So I think you guys are handling everything perfectly. And like we said to Art last week, we're hoping that, you know, this takes hold and that he sees what a group can do when you guys all work together. So I really appreciate all you've done.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. You guys are awesome. You guys are, I mean, one thing that you take Stamp from the hospital, and the thing is you have two parents that know nothing about being addicted to opiates, and you have to somehow deal with Stamp being on opiate. When all you've known him is every time he's been on it, his life sucks, and now he has to be on it. Like, that's, yeah. Like, you guys are the best. Yeah, you guys are great. Yeah. I'm happy. You know, I love my mom and my dad, but I'm so glad that you are my second parents. So.
Yep, we are.
You are.
So carry on. You're doing an excellent job. That's all I know. That's all I wanted to say.
It's all from Art. It's all thanks to him.
Thanks, Kat.
This is also thanks to Art. What's happening right here? When I stopped doing drugs, I started to get fat. I blame Art. In the box.
Any other questions or comments or how things going in your lives? Anybody want to talk about that? Want to ask the crew any questions about your loved ones? It's okay if you don't. It's totally cool. We'll still love you. I do have one thing I forgot to say was I'm going to be doing a slideshow of a bunch of the photos of the Run for Recovery that have been coming in. So if you haven't sent your Run for Recovery photos in, you can put them on the Run for Recovery page, or you can send them just to me or Angie, and then I'll put them in the slideshow. I'm hoping to have it done by next week. So we got some really good pictures, got a ton of pictures. So I'm excited to do that slideshow. I'm not real great at it, but I'll stumble through it. I can do it. Okay, crew. You think we should cut out early or? Oh,
Yeah.
Sherry.
So I got one for you guys, any one of you guys, I guess. How do you handle when you have a day where you have the the 1 step forward, 2 steps back day, right? I think everybody has that, right? You have that momentary, like my world sucks. I want to go do bad things.
I think we need to have Stamp answer this one.
Yeah, I mean, because it feels like this really is like the entire experience of having addiction show up for you it's like you do 1 day at a time, and then it's like 1 step forward, then you do 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's like such slow motion.
Yeah,
takes some time to really like
you guys hear him?
Adjust to that and not like get too carried away with like trying to go too fast. I guess.
You guys hear that? What he said? Okay.
Yeah.
And there also gets a point where it's not like that anymore for us.
You come to realize life kind of happens.
Right. And so we and that's the beauty of it is we become an acceptance with life, right? And we're able to get out of our head, and we're able to use what we've learned, whether it be through the power of the breath, or whether it be through prayer, or just being able to talk to somebody. We've been able to just not take those 2 steps back, right? It's just those continuous 1 step forward, and we continue to take step after step after step without having to look back, because we've learned how to get out of our head and put ourselves in situations where we're in our head. I know for me, it took me like 6 months before I was able to get out of my own head. And now everything has been completely forward. I haven't had the thought of using drugs. I haven't had those thoughts or anything like that for some time. And that's because I'm able to, like Stefan said earlier, we're able to separate ourselves, and we're able to just basically look at ourselves in a new way. Basically, we've rebuilt ourselves.
And it also comes a point in your addiction where like any step back, it brings you all the way back. Any one little step will bring you all the way back. And so it gets scary.
I don't know about that. I've had a lot of steps backs in this program.
Yeah. I mean, it's different. It's different for everybody. Right. 1 step back for me means I'm going way back.
Yeah.
I'm going way back.
There's that opportunity. But like I said, if you just use what we've learned in this program and apply it to your everyday life, and like Kyle said, look at life as a group every day, then I guess you don't have to live in fear of those times when you do take a step back or something doesn't work out for you. Because you know that, if you just use these things, then the next days are just going to be better and better and better.
Yeah. And well, another thing too is like taking what seems to happen is that 1 step back, life hits you. Life hits you and it shouts at you saying, yo, you just fucked up. Yo, you got to stop this right now before it gets any worse. You know?
And if anything, that step back is actually a learning curve, and you're able to look at yourself and observe yourself and see what's going on.
Life as a group.
And of course, there's going to be times like we all say when somebody's nagging on us or somebody's telling us to change, and we just don't want to hear it from them. But 90% of the time, almost 100% of the time, anybody that's telling you to change, it's damn near, because you need to change.
It's accurate. Yeah.
It's accurate. They're not telling you need to change for them to be superior to you, or
even if they are.
Right. It's we hold everybody accountable here in this group, and no bullshit.
I know for me, when I first got here, I was completely in a sense of like, I can fool these people. I can get through this, like however many weeks, months, however long I'm supposed to be here. And then I ended up making a poor decision. And before even I got back to the house, Art already knew. And I thought that I could, manipulate the situation and get through it. And he scared the shit out of me. And once I finally let myself
off the hook,
not even off the hook, but just let myself become part of this, become part of the group, actually take in,
surrender to the group.
Yeah. Surrender to the group, surrender to the teachings of it, surrender to recovery. I have literally has so much just fun here, and it doesn't, you know what I mean? At first I was thinking that this is going to be a drag, I can't be around my children, blah blah blah. And for me it's only a better thing, because now my children have a way better mom. I'm going to be able to give them a way better life. I can see a light at the end of the tunnel, and I don't have all these hangups of things that when I leave here I'm terrified of. I know that, now when I leave here, I have the tools and the stuff to be able to overcome those hurdles and whatnot. So even if there is a one, 2 steps back, one, you know what I mean? I'm not scared of that, because now I know what I have to do to move 5 steps forward, So that was a huge thing for me when I got here, or being here, for a while.
We got a question. Colleen.
Yeah, Colleen.
Hi, I just wanted to say that I appreciate this meeting, and I learned from it, and I wanted Stefan to know that I'm here.
Love you, Mom.
Oh, that's nice.
Wave, Stefan.
That's sweet. Good. I'm glad you're here.
Camera on, Mom.
I'm not ready for that yet.
She's probably in her jammies. Come on.
But thank you. Just appreciate the meeting. It was very insightful. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. Glad you're here. Hey, Mrs. Burrows.
Hi. I tried to be quiet. Okay.
You almost made it. You only have 2 minutes.
Almost did. I know. So just to the crew or to Kyle. So Wiggins, the Wiggins family said it, and other families have said it. How does it make you guys feel to know that these conversations about all the conversations that we've had about the guidance that you're getting and giving on recovery helps the family? I mean, how does anybody there have any input on, your perspective on the holistic advice that's also reaching the families?
So the way that addiction was described to me when it comes to the family mechanism, which I find very perfect, is that the way addiction tends to work, and it was for my family, just pretend that you have 2 cogs of a wheel. You have the addict and you have the family. And as the addict cog turns, you got the family turning along with it. And what tends to happen sometimes is you get this addict in some kind of treatment where they learn that they have a problem, where something has to change, where they need to start looking at themselves and start looking at the resentments that they had and the issues that they had, and they start turning the other way. And what happens is that when the family of that addict who's been so used to their behavior, so used to the poison and the resentment, when they don't get the help along with it, they're still turning this way. When the addict comes back, they end up going back together, and the addict might start using it again just because the family hasn't had that education and knowing what's happening. But so what does happen though is you have the addict go over here to get this education, then you have the family going over here to get this education. They both learn about addiction and codependency and Al-Anon and what we talk about here and awareness, and they start both turning back together again the other direction, and it becomes a whole. You know, the addiction affects the whole family, and that's the way it was described to me. And I know that my mom being part of Battlefield while I was on the streets getting high is definitely one of the main reasons why I would say it is the reason why I'm here right now. It's because if it wasn't for that, I would still be in a trailer that has no power, no sewage, no water, with people that steal from you. You know what I mean? Cold as fuck. Probably withdrawing from something.
Probably.
So, yeah, it's important. It's extremely important. The family, you know, it's a family. It's a, you know, I don't want to say it's a family disease or whatever you want to call it, but it affects the whole family. It is both. Everyone needs to know, you know. And here's the thing: is you know, as us addicts we need our families. We need that support. We need it. We need understanding. We need someone. You know, you don't have to understand our addiction and why we do things, but you gotta understand where we're going and what we're trying to do. You know, what's trying to happen, where we're going with life. You know, we can't hold resentments against each other. We can't be angry with each other. So it's important. Yeah. Anybody else? I think somebody else in here wanted to say something.
Yeah, I want to announce Cam's sobriety of a year clean.
Oh yeah, Cam will have a year clean in 6 days.
8 days.
8 days.
Nice. That's awesome. Good.
Because his mom brought him to the battlefield. And then they brought him to rebuild. Or vice versa. Because of family.
Oh, Jennifer's got one. Let's do it real quick, Jennifer.
Oh, I just wanted to say thank you for saying that you need the support from your parents and your family.
Yeah.
Because my son's not in treatment yet, and it's hard. And I'm trying to support the best that I can. So just listening to you guys is helpful for me.
Good.
Because I have all that guilt of, you know, picking him out and making him like come to his end at the moment.
Are you hopping on Mom's group tomorrow, Jennifer?
I have a meeting tomorrow from 10
Okay.
to 11:30, so maybe I can come in the middle. But
Yeah. Come in at 11:30 if you need to, or whenever, just for a couple minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
We'd love to see you.
You know, another thing that's important too is your own personal healing. You know, your own personal program. You know, because and like we talked about today, the only way that you can get to invite someone else to change is come to a place with yourself where you're outside that box. You know, where you're in a place where you can offer that change to somebody else. And you know, my mom being at a place where she was disappointed all the time, but coming from a place of compassion well, I mean, she still didn't give me money. I mean, she still didn't let me stay at her house. I mean, she didn't give me a car or a phone or anything, but she, you know, she bought me groceries. I mean, she had compassion still coming from, and she was healing, even though I was still out there using, even though I could die any day out there, she was healing. And then it did a lot. It did a lot to get, I saw that, and it did a lot to push me to get here. So that, you know, the mom's group's important, you know, consultations with Art and Angie are so important. You know, that's building a strategy for how you're going to do this and how you're going to get your addict some help is important. But your own personal growth, your own personal health, it's important to the addict, sure, but it has to be important to you. Not even because of the addict, just because you need you.
Without fuel, but fire.
You are preaching to the choir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No, you're good. I get everything that you're saying, and I'm just in the middle of it, you know.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
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 Just the process.
Yep. I'll tell you, after it's over, when you get to, when things start to get better, you admire it. You see how beautiful it is, how beautiful the process is, how life works, how wonderful shittiness can be after the fact.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Gosh, you guys just did a great job. You guys did a great job. Thank you, Kyle.
We'll know once Art sees it, and we'll see what he says.
Well, we all enjoyed it.
Well,
thank
good.
you, Drew. Thank you, Nico, for being so good on all the videos and stuff. And thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. And don't forget to send me photos. I'll post it on Families Battle too. But if you did your run, send me photos so I can do that slideshow. And Mom's Group in the morning. Message me for the link if you don't have it. All right, guys. Have a good night. Thanks for being here. Bye, everybody.